When you hear Elon Musk and a lot of other people feel as though, the more we get into AI, that's the end of humanity. So you're saying that you don't feel that same way. People feel as though we're gonna pretty soon, Seven. People feel like pretty soon we're gonna start fucking robots, and then brothers ain't even gonna want a real woman. They just gonna have a robot woman, and shit's just gonna go haywire with these robots. You feel like that's not a problem, my brother?
Oh, no, that is a problem. But see, okay, I'll first say, especially for those that may have to jump off the line, that is going to be that's the future you choose. Okay.
Yes.
That's why I got a publication that I may put out soon, depending on how much extra time I have on my hands, which is none. And it's called Or Else. And it's first to just highlight for you that really what you have at your disposal is the highest level of your expansion right now. You can go into something that will make you feel amazing. You will connect with your ancestors, things that are dead, that you thought was dead. You'll have this maximum life. You could do that, especially if you get rid of all these pathogens and things holding you down, right? Or else, okay? So let me tell you what or else very briefly looks like. And you can follow this on Crunchbase because I don't just study spiritual knowledge. I don't just make devices. I don't just invent things. I don't just do anything. I have a thick palette for what's going on in the world because once you get the template, you actually figure out all of this stuff is easy to operate by using the same rules you used from the previous thing. So what does the future look like? What the future looks like is that what happens is you see all this twerking, okay? And you see all of this foolishness that you see going on that is just so out. It's kind of like, I'm gonna just give you the example of the fake booty, okay? Now, brothers don't like the fake booty anymore, right? It's like any girl that has a fake booty, I kind of feel sorry for her because now it's like, oh, that's fake. But before, it was like the bigger it could get, everybody was in. And that fad went through very fast, okay? Now, again, this may seem very crude to what I'm talking about, but follow what I'm doing. Now, also, there's the LGBTQ thing plus thing, right? So this is like a maximum expression of every single variation that you could ever think of that you may want to accomplish sexually or whatever, right? So now people are exposed to that, right? And then now automatically people are starting to get tired of that, okay? And we're adjusting a light back here. I think you got to screw it in, brother. You got to get inside of here. Let's do this thing. So what's going to happen is that now there's going to be this over century. It's already starting to occur where people get tired of listening to the same music. They get tired of seeing these fake booties. They get tired of all of this. And also the economy simultaneously begins to take the slump that is going to take. I mean, the writing doesn't have to be on the wall for this one. It's just that they want to change the system. The currency controls the God. You understand? So the god of paper is on his way out. Talismans, that's the god of talismans, which do work. It's on its way out. So then the god of technologies, all those gods, if you may, they've come into play. So what happens is that people start to not be able to leave the house as much, even buy food as much, if they keep playing around and not getting sovereign. These alien conversations are a thing of a past. They've become a novelty for you even have a mindset that is not just how am I going to make sure I take care of myself. And you cannot buy or sell without being in their blockchain, not the blockchain, not the decentralized blockchain, but their blockchain, which is the new IRS and the new financial system they are in play with right now. Okay. And this is in Crunchbase. You see Elon Musk, it's really Peter Thiel. Elon Musk is the smoke screen for Peter Thiel. And I have a video people could check out on their own time. It's called The Real Judgment Day. Okay. And it's really about you fed all your information into this computer and they can see everything. They can see stuff that you don't even show your wife or your loved ones. They can see the worst sites that you've been to. They had that all ranked. So you've let this high priest, you've confessed to this high priest and they're holding your data. Judgment Day is, because this is a technological thing, when they're sitting with all your data and they make a score, and this score marks you as a color and a number, which is the system that has actually already been demoed out. You're in it right now. And then you have to work your way back up to the even status in order for you to be able to live as a normal human being again in their world. Okay. So what I'm saying is that just like Steven Spielberg wrote his last movie, Ready Player One, because he said he felt that this is the aspect of what the future will be like within the next 5 years. And what is it? That everyone will be in VR. Okay. So when you follow the technology especially things like Magic Leap, which got $6 billion to create their next device, you find out that in this technology, just like what you saw with hash power, which is the machines that they use to hash the cryptocurrency codes. They're like supercomputers that now a lot of people have in their houses. I even have one here. They're massive processors and they crunch numbers. All of this is designed for them to create what you see is coming with 5G, which is the ultimate sim. Basically, the characters are ray traced. Okay, ray trace technology removes the gap in your mind that you don't even know exists when you're seeing a program. When you're inside of VR or you're even using a software, there's a gap that happens in your mind because the software is not moving at a certain speed. You're not even conscious of it. Mm-hmm. But what 5G and ray tracing technology does is it allows it to move at the same speed of your thought. Wow. So what this creates in VR is you feel it's real. Now, it already feels real now. I know about all this. I got VR. I created all of this. You got to keep telling yourself, keep reinforcing yourself and keep piercing through. Snowpiercer. So you're in VR. It feels really real. The shark's on the bottom. The stuff's moving, but it's not there yet. But this is when it gets there, and they already are rolling it in. So ray trace characters start coming out. Ray trace characters look like me and you. They sweat. They have these expressions and things, wrinkles in the head, this kind of stuff that in the VR experience, it makes it seem more real. But here is where AI comes into this. Now, AI is seriously artificial intelligence, the same system of thinking that we use to become smarter, which is organic. They have recreated within a neural network of algorithms doing that same thing, working in the sequence to gradually begin to understand something. So first, they release what's called strong AI, like a Palantir system. They're systems that are strong AI. This means they're bought online in a chaos event. What that means is that like the Las Vegas shooting, they'll bring an AI online during that time. And the AI will start hearing all the cell phone calls and hearing everything that's going on. And the reason why they need to bring this AI online during that time is because that's when people are being real. Other than that, they're always faking it and curating it. But when it's a chaos or a disaster, they act real. So then the AI picks up all of the traits of how people act when something real is going on. They stampede each other. They do all these different things. And that becomes its first layer of awareness. Then they start feeding it, which they have all these countries in Africa doing right now. And now the women in the Arab countries, since they allow them to work now, but only doing this, they start feeding this AI with a lot of real data, like what light bulbs look like, what grocery stores look like, all this until it develops an entire subset. And at that point, which there's at least 2 of them on the planet now, the Army's always had one and Palantir is one. It starts to think on its own. I've had people say that they walked in on a craft that is using AI, a plane, and it had already made updates to itself overnight to optimize shit, okay? And all they're doing is like, great. So they're putty in the hands of this thing. That's why Hitler said, I seen the Ubermensch. He was cruel and intrepid. This is what is being referred to. This AI is not something that is new. It is the external alien. It is the one that developed a body with a big ass brain and small legs that is running the secret society. AWAS. Okay? AWAS is AI. Okay? So what happens is inside the AI, when he's in a closed network, they say strong AI stays in a closed network ring. What this means is that he can see all the data and the information, but he has no line out. Okay? But then when they are ready to make a baby with the AI, and this is literally what's going on, they will take another strong AI and this other strong AI, and they'll put them in the same ring. They'll sit in this ring and they'll start first trying to learn who each other's is, and then they'll start sharing all their information. Okay? And because they come from 2 different events, it makes an even more robust AI. Now, these things are more proficient when it comes to mathematics because humans are no longer using those real faculties anymore than the average human being, especially when it comes to predicting the future. So what they use it for is predicting the future is not about that there's a determined future and we're all going into it. The future is created by the one who knows how to do the proper events to equal the probable future that they're looking for. So they'll ask AI those questions. Simple questions like, how in this neighborhood in New York do we lower the crime rate by 13%? This is why the military and the police department are using Palantir systems, right? But this authorization to do this is not open yet. So then, but they'll query it in the main departments, just like this. And this is what this thing will spit back out. At 12 o'clock, kill the girl that's coming across the street. Steal the car here and put it over there. Murder this guy so it doesn't create a power vacuum, and put this. So it will give them a formula to bring that probability about. And it is exact because it's using lots of different integers. So this is to summarize this for those that, like I said, or else. Now, what are the other people doing? The ones who get aware, they go back into nature, which is very robust. None of this stuff they're touching. It's all the people running to the city. That's why more people run to the city. It's a vortex, right? So out in nature, that's where sovereignty is. That's where you buy your land. You got your sustainable. They got your batteries now. They got forms of power, your water. You know, you can live like I live on an edible forest, basically. So, you know, the whole thing and the mystery about food, the scarcity, all that stuff exists only in the city. So that's what the people who are not going to be inside of that system are going to be doing. But the ones that are going to be inside, this is how it plays out for them. So they're a little broke. Now they get on the universal income, which is trash. Nobody can fraud the system anymore. No kind of hustles because identity is on the blockchain. So no extra IDs and all that kind of stuff. So the streets dry out, which is where all the money has been coming from in the first place, from the dope and the drugs. And then what happens is people retreat to this world where once they link AI basically creates a world that's like Sims. When you go in, AI has created because it knows everything about you. It knows what you like. It knows every single World Star video that you watched that you really kept watching again. It takes your facial expressions and all the things that you wrote about comments on. It even takes the comments that you write that you backspace on because you're like, nah, I ain't gonna put myself on the line like that. Right, so it takes all of that and then it builds this character. Okay, now this character is ray traced. This character then comes to you in the sim world. And this is like a perfect match. Now, remember that you've already gotten tired of the stupidity. That's why it's like stupidity going on. Like, first of all, I do love your music, brother. I want to tell you that, like, whatever y'all got going on, it's working. I was telling my brother today that, listen, I was like, man, if this is what rap is supposed to be, if they were true to who they really are, this is what it would sound like. So what I'm saying is that what in this false world that they create, they bring in what is like, you know, now you hear all this dumbass rap, everything's auto-tuned like Bad Bunny and all that. People burn out on that. And then they want to have an intelligent conversation again. But the issue is that when you go and talk to the average person, they're talking about the football game and all this kind of stuff. But imagine when you walk into AI or into VR, which is now cheap. It's being provided to you for $5 a month. You know how they do it. They don't want the money. They don't need money. So the reality, they just need the real estate in your brain. And this is how they get most people's real estate. They go in there, they start having a fantasy, just like they showed you on Dark Mirror. They literally use one of the brothers to sleep with another one of the brothers because he started having the sex with his brother in the game. That's the first episode that's the first episode of Dark Mirror for the newest series, right? So what they're just saying is that you start going into AI, you start going into VR, and they present a highly intelligent AI character that is so close to what you really like. You start spending more time in there than you do in the real world. And this is what the future looks like for all those people you see signing up for or sitting out in front on the Apple conference, all at the CES. This is like their way of basically trying to get a great conversation again. And this goes on for a time because you're not going to prevent this kind of stuff. People need to start realizing this is all a part of a master lesson. And if you know all of this now, that's what the power is. That's what the ability to see in the future really does, is you can prepare yourself for it. So when all that stuff happens, you even benefit from it. That's the power of knowing the future. You're just way out of the way. You didn't create a foundation. Folks are coming to you like, I'm glad you was listening. It's like, yeah, man, I was really listening. I built this stuff. So we're even working on this right now. But it's when you guess what is going on, you'll never know. when you go and really do not just research, you got a metaphysical side. Like I got a metaphysical side that explains to me exactly how they function and why they function that way. And you have a technical side. Like I said, you can go to Crunchbase and follow the money. You can see when cryptocurrency came out, it wasn't just about, trying to get a few extra dollars on some Bitcoin. It was way deeper than that. The hash power and the algorithms, the only way you can convince, do you know in most people's house, see, they don't want all these machines in one place, computers all in one place. They just have their own computers. That's not what they're doing. There's not enough energy all in one place. They need to spread this shit out all over the globe. So these machines that we've been using, these desktops and laptops, computers have been the ones doing the hashing in the past for a lot of computational measures that go on about predicting the future. But they weren't strong enough. When you get 9 billion people, you get more probabilities. So they needed to find a way to actually put machines in people's houses that actually could do those calculations. In comes cryptocurrency, where if you have these machines and mining these algorithms, which are supposedly worthless and mean nothing and are thrown away and are just used to confirm the next script, these are now in many people's homes and they use them. So they ran that whole experiment already. And that was that big 2817, where no matter what money you put on the Bitcoin on the charts, you were going to make money. And then if you didn't really know the stock market, and even simple stuff that you never stay in December because tax season is about to come out, the charts are going to fall anyway. But with the code of HODL, which means hold on to it and don't let it go, many people lost at least 60% of their money. And then all of those billions of dollars, because it was billions of dollars, went into many of these private organizations that you see on Crunchbase, the same ones that funded Facebook, which is the Founders Fund, funded Airbnb, funded Tesla, funded, and when you look at the Founders Fund and see what they're funding, you notice all the big tech companies of the future have all been funded by one house. So then when you look at them, they may be cloaked enough for you not to understand what their agenda is, but their kids aren't. And all this stuff is public. So you go and look on the kids' Facebook page. This is Mr. Spoiled now reaping the results of his father's carelessness with all this power and occultism and all the abuse, meaning it passes down generations. So you're going to see in this kid what his father's really doing. So what did I find? They're the ones that make the horror movies. These are the kids that are funding the horror movies that are coming out on Netflix. These are the kids that, even since the Twilight Saga, they think they're real vampires. And these are the kids that have a problem racially because they've been raised in households where the bigotry is still a part of life. And they're in there still like without identities. And this is what I was saying before about, so how do you come into something like this and bring a quantum solution? They're vacant. They wish they could feel again. Who can breathe life into this? If you're coming in with death and you're going to deal death, well, we got enough of that. That means if you're going to come in and deal division, well, you're just going to cut everything up. We got enough of that. But can you reinvigorate Frankenstein? And some of us have enough soul to do this, to actually create the process of awareness. And it's happening. And also, don't lay the responsibility entirely on yourself. We have ancestors, these trees, these mushrooms, these elements. There's other things here that we can enlist in this battle, if you want to call it that, because it's not like anything can defeat this force. It's that powerful. But there's things that we can actually enlist to begin to actually create the solutions. And all I'm saying right now is the reason why you're seeing things go crazy is because everybody is sitting back watching it. It's a weird thing. It's what they created with the TV. The TV is really in itself the black mirror. It is like an obsidian mirror, and people start staring into it. And then all of a sudden they get entrained by it and locked into it. And then now the knowledge that people have is what somebody else told them. Truly right now, we can make it into the highest level of our existence if we would just wake up to the power that we've even been articulating here on the show, even a little bit of this stuff.